unsanitary conditions of her unit. It caused roaches, a severe roach infestation in her unit, in which we treated her monthly.
Enjoy the video. Hit the like button.
The defendant, who do I have?
Jessica Trevino.
You're an attorney, right?
Yes, sir.
Here with the Greater Waco Legal Services?
Yes, sir.
And are you Miss Opal Lee Palmer? Miss Palmer, give me 1 second. I can't see you. It's here. Technology, I like it, but I hate it at times. Will you be testifying, Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Okay. So, Ms. Palmer, I hate to do this. If I can get you to move next to, I apologize, Ms. Palmer. Thank you, ma'am. Now I can see your beautiful face in the picture.
Thank you.
Okay. I am Judge James Lee, Justice of the Peace, presiding. Today's case involves a complaint filed against you, Ms. Palmer, for lease violations. This pertains to the address in question of 17, Unit 308. What's going to happen next is I'm going to have the bailiff swear everyone in. So for those of you that are appearing remotely, this is a hybrid hearing. You need to follow the bailiff's instructions. And then as well as you, Ms. Palmer, saying that you're going to be providing testimony in today's case. So please follow the bailiff's instructions.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And for those that are in the back, we'll swear you all, need be. You can go ahead, Ms. Palmer. All right. So I do have, whenever you have two people that are going to be testifying as well.
Oh, just one.
Just one?
I know someone was on the way. I don't know if they'll be able to make it. I know they were running a little late, but if they come in, they may testify as well.
Okay. Depending on the time frame and
Yeah.
what's the proceeding. Okay. And so, young lady that will be testifying, can I get your name? Megan. Spell that for me. Last name Johnson. Okay. All right. And we'll just go ahead and swear in. You need to swear her in just to be on the safe side.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and explain how the case is going to go. So first and foremost, it's up to you, Mr. Luna, and or you, Ms. Prod, to prove to me that the defendant, Ms. Palmer, defaulted in the terms of her lease by, you just put other lease violations, with lease violations. And so it's also up to you to provide proof to me that you did everything you were legally supposed to do prior to the case getting to this point, meaning that you comply with all of the laws of this state as they pertain to evictions. Now, while you're speaking, I do have a licensed attorney here. She may present objections. Okay, that's keyword may. I don't know. But hopefully we can hold off on the objections so that I can hear the case in its entirety before we move on. Okay, we have another witness that just walked in.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. So you just have a seat. Can I get you to state your name, man?
Christy Oliver.
Christy Oliver. Is CR with a C?
C-H-R-S-T-I-E.
Okay, you can just have a seat. So, go ahead and follow the bailiff's instructions. Be sworn in as
Raise
Oliver.
your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do.
Okay, so no more witnesses, right? Okay, all right. So going back to what I was saying, it's up to the plaintiff to provide proof to me that the defendant defaulted in terms of her lease. So while you're speaking, we're going to hold off on the objections because I want to make sure I hear the case in its entirety. Once the plaintiff is through, I'm going to give the defendant the opportunity to defend her client. She has two witnesses as well as the client, the defendant here that may provide testimony. I'm going to ask that you, the plaintiff, refrain from interrupting the attorney as well as the witnesses until I hear everything that they're trying to say as well. Throughout the process, I may ask questions, and this is just to develop the facts of the case. That's how this goes. Once I've heard from both sides, I will decide who's right and who's wrong. All right? Any questions before we proceed on? None?
No.
Okay. I'm going to be presenting the case on behalf of Brooke Oaks.
It'll be myself.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Moore. You can proceed with the case.
Yes, sir. So on October 20th, Opal was served with a 30-day notice to vacate, notice of tenancy. And this was due to the unsanitary conditions of her apartment. Since 2021, she has been served various lease violations, all due to the conditions of her apartment. On October 6th, she was actually served with a lease violation and was informed that she would be getting a follow-up inspection of the apartment on the 20th to ensure, to make sure that the apartment was brought up to sanitary conditions. However, unfortunately, on the 20th, when we went into the apartment, the unit was still in very unsanitary conditions. I did attach the photos that were taken on the 20th with the 30-day notice of tenancy, termination of tenancy, to be able to show the court the condition of the apartment during the re-inspection of the cured time. So this is this was the inspection to make sure that the apartment was in good condition. This was the condition that we found it in. She was served with a 30-day notice with a notice to vacate by November 19th. On November 18th, Opal and a few of her representatives had asked to meet with the management team, apartment manager, to see if there was anything we can do to help them. We did meet with myself, our service coordinator, and the service coordinator. We did meet with Opal, her emergency contact at the time. We met with Ms. Christy Oliver, which is her Medicare representative, and her hospice representatives. During that meeting, we expressed the conditions of the unit and how it has been this way over a period of time, and there has not been any long-term demonstration of correcting this. And so in that meeting, they had asked both Miss Christy Oliver and William Padilla, her emergency contact at the time, and Opal, they had all asked that we give Opal an extended time frame of 30 to 45 days for her to be able to find a nursing home that would be good for her, or assisted care facility that would be good for her. We did talk about various other alternative plans. I think the consensus that day was a nursing home. Matter of fact, Williams particularly mentioned Woodway, the Woodway nursing home, Woodway Regency. It was from my understanding that our service coordinator did reach out to Woodway Regency and was able to secure her a room at Woodway Regency, so then she wouldn't be homeless or wouldn't be out on the streets or anything like that. And unfortunately, that was declined. That moved to Woodway Regency. However, we did say that we would give them the 30 to 45 days to move out. And so we followed through with our end of that bargain, and we waited until January 5th, which would have been the 45th day. And so, I'm sorry, January 3rd, which would have been that 45th day. After that's when we decided to go ahead and pursue with the court to execute this tenancy, termination of tenancy.
Okay. So I just want to make sure, just jot down a couple of notes. Notice to vacate was given to the tenant on October 20th.
Correct.
How was this given to the tenant?
It was hand delivered to him.
Okay, would you personally delivered it to Miss Palmer?
Ms. O. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And there was an agreement that was declined. Tell me a little bit more about that. What do you mean by decline?
So they had asked to give an additional 30 to 45 days to be able to find a more reasonable place for Opal to transition into. And so in that meeting, it was talking about the Woodway Regency nursing home would have been the ideal nursing home for her to go to. Everybody was in agreement. Our service coordinator worked diligently to get the Woodway Regency to be able to secure Ms. Opal a room with the Woodway Regency nursing home. And when it came time to sign the documents to be able to accept that room, Ms. Opal and William, her emergency contact, declined to be able to accept that room. And so, as far as we knew after that, we didn't know what other living arrangements they were planning to do. And so, at that time, we just continued to wait out that 30 to 45 days that they had asked for to vacate the property.
Judge, do you mind if I add something?
This is your case. Go ahead.
I do want to point out that Carlos tried working with Miss Opal. It's never our intention to put anyone out, but he tried working with her to give her the chance to clean up her unit. In addition to the unsanitary conditions of her unit, it caused roaches, a severe roach infestation in her unit. In which we treated her monthly for, and we have documentation of that from the pest control company. We actually paid an extra $159 a month specifically to treat her unit over several months. But due to the fact that she did not clean her unit, the treatments were ineffective. So, we were asking for her effort and her input, on her side to clean the unit in order for the treatment to be effective, but it was not. And in addition, it caused other roach issues for the adjacent units next to her. So I did want to add that, we tried working with her. But it seems that either, I don't know if she was unable to clean. I know that she had a aide that would come to help her during the day. And Carlos had, conversations with that person as well to try to get that person to assist with cleaning her unit to no avail.
Okay. All right. Anything else? I'll move on to the defendant.
The last part I wanted to add to it, Judge, is that in the documents that I presented to you, you will see some witness statements in there. Those witness statements are from her neighbors who claim that there's such a foul smell coming from her unit that they are no longer able to keep their doors open due to the smell from her apartment.
Are these statements are sworn statements?
They were statements that they wrote out and signed, so I just included them with the packet.
Are they sworn statements?
No, no, these are just their own statements.
Okay, anything else before I move on to the defendant?
No, no, sir.
That being said, you may proceed with the defense.
Your Honor, I prepared an opening statement along with some questions for the plaintiff. If that's how I would be able to proceed.
No, you can proceed with the opening statements, but kind of lead into the question. So here's one thing that I didn't say. I do have a licensed attorney here. So with that being said, by you giving testimony, you will get cross-examined. And that's just, it's a civil proceeding. All right. And so by her asking you statements, you're already on the oath, and you would, need to respond to the questions that are being asked. Okay. So with that being said, please proceed.
Good morning, Your Honor. Miss Opal Palmer has been a longtime resident of Brook Oaks and should not be evicted today for two reasons. The first is a procedural reason in that Brook Oaks notice is improper because it lacks certain language required by federal law. Second is that Miss Opal's apartment is not unclean to render an eviction. So I would like to call Mr. Carlos Luna to testify about Miss Opal's apartment, basically.
Okay. Mr. Luna, you're already under oath.
Okay.
Mr. Luna, what is your current position at Brook Oaks?
I am the property manager.
And how long have you held that position?
Since the end of September.
Of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you worked in apartment management before coming to Brook Oaks?
I worked in property management, not apartment management.
What would you say is the average age of the residents of Brook Oaks?
I would say in the 70s.
Does Brook Oaks have restrictions on who can live there, like age and income?
62 and over, and they have to fall under the poverty line.
Do you know why there are restrictions on the property?
Because we are funded through HUD.
So you are federally funded, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I would like to admit Exhibit A, and I've shared the exhibits with Mr. Luna via email. This is a certified deed of the federal restrictions on this property. Mr. Luna, did you receive my email with the various documents?
I did. I was unaware of what they were pertaining to, but yes, I did receive those.
Mr. Luna, are you able to open that email right now so I can ask you a question about this document?
Give me 1 second. Okay, so what's the document name?
I believe I named it restrictions or deed restrictions. It is the title is deed restrictions for rental project.
Okay, I see it. Yes.
Okay. Can you read that first paragraph aloud?
Let me zoom in, actually. I'm sorry, it's really small, so I'm going to zoom in, download it, and zoom in. The Deed Restrictions and Affordable Housing Program, AHP, Recapture Agreement This recapture agreement is entered into the 14th day of November 2007 between Central National Bank, Brook Oak Senior Residences, a Texas nonprofit corporation, and Mercy Housing Incorporated, a Nebraska not-for-profit corporation, in its capacity as the sponsor for the Affordable Housing Program project, hereinafter Mercy Housing Incorporated, in its capacity as sponsor in reference as sponsor. The bank owner and sponsor are jointly referred to as parties.
Thank you. Are you aware that when apartments are federally subsidized, they must comply with federal laws when it comes to eviction?
Yes.
Have you heard of the Violence Against Women Act, often called VAWA?
Yes.
Are you aware that this act requires specific language in the notice to evict for federally subsidized housing?
It is from my understanding that it is required if the tenant is a part of the VAWA program.
Do you have your 30-day notice of termination in front of you?
I do.
And Your Honor, I believe you have a copy of this 30-day. If you don't, I have it.
Give me,
You can have it.
I have a copy of it.
Oh. Mr. Luna, on your 30-day notice of termination of tenancy dated October 20th, 2025, is there language on this document referring to the VAWA program?
I do not see it.
Thank you. Regarding the condition of Ms. Palmer's apartment, you mentioned that photos were taken when you went to inspect, correct?
Say that again?
Regarding the condition of Ms. Palmer's apartment, you mentioned that you took photos on October 2nd, correct?
October 20th.
Did you take photos at the initial inspection?
Our maintenance technician did.
In that
And
email I sent,
that was on October 2nd, yes.
can you pull up those photos in the email I sent you? Your Honor, I would like to admit Exhibit C. These are the photos taken on October 2nd. Mr. Luna, it's a one-page email. I don't know if you've seen it, but it has 7 pictures on it. Okay. Were these those photos taken on October 2nd?
Yes.
Can you describe what you see in these photos?
Filth.
Can you be more specific?
There is debris all on the counters. You could see the stove handles are pretty, they have a lot of grime on the stove like you can see on the stove handles, there's a lot of grime. You can see grime on the countertops. You can see on the floor under this chair, you can see that there are, the flooring itself is really dirty. In the sink, you can see the grime within the sink. On the floors, you can see there's a lot of open food and trash that are piled on the counters. You can see inside and beneath the stove refrigerator, all the grime that's on the floor and within the refrigerator.
Are there any pests taken or any photos of pests in these photos?
It looks like the one that's right beside the one that has the juice. right there. There is 1 or 2 roaches right there near the butter bowl.
Which picture is this that we're referencing?
The
From
second
the-
picture.
Thank you. And you said that there were photos taken in October 2nd, 20th, correct?
Yes.
And are those photos the ones on the 30-day notice of termination?
Yes.
You can pull up that document.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to go through each of these photos and kind of talk about what the issue is with each of these photos, starting with this first photo of what I believe is a kitchen sink.
Yeah, so on the kitchen sink, you could see that there has been residue that was left in the sink. That is pretty self-explanatory on that one. If we go on to the next one, you can see near the sink handle and above the sink, you can see the grime. And even on the spray nozzle, there's a lot of grime. And it looks like even roach residue. We go on to the next page, you can see it's her backsplash, which is full of either what looks like roach poop to me, and or debris that has been splashed back there and has not been cleaned. You can see the stove handles is still full of grime. The knobs. Furthermore, you can see the edge of the counter is full of grime. We go on to the next page. Even under the stove was I looked at the stove, so you could not the stove, but the cooktop, and you can see all the grime that had been spilt there, and the crumbs have been there over a period of time. And that's on both sides. The next one you can see where the fridge is pulled out. This one right here was pulled out because Ms. Palmer was in the apartment during this re-inspection, and I was trying to show Ms. Palmer all the debris that was in front of there was about 6 inches of this debris that was in front of the fridge. And I was trying to show Ms. Palmer this, and she told me that I was crazy. She don't see a mess. So I pulled it out. It is on wheels for a better visual for her. Even seeing this, she still claimed that there was nothing wrong with that. But this right here is what was found underneath the refrigerator. You can see underneath the microwave that there is quite a bit of debris in and under that microwave.
So give me 1 second, Mr. Luna. Going back to the picture that's on it, that you took for when you removed the refrigerator. What is that? That's underneath. Since you were there, what could you identify? What exactly is that underneath the refrigerator?
There was a lot of roaches. There was a lot of dirt, and I would assume old food.
These insects still alive, moving around, were they deceased?
There was movement.
Okay. You can proceed.
And then let me see. I'm sorry, I had these printed right in front of me, but I know there's more in this thing. So give me 1 second. So what you see over here near the planter thing, I wasn't necessarily trying to show the planter. I was trying to show all the grime that's along the floor. And this right here is probably the best lighting I could get to show the grime going towards the kitchen area, which is the white, where the white floor opens up towards, as well as the grime going towards her carpeted area. And so that right there was that. This right here is a pole within her kitchen. It's a support pole. You can see the roach activity on there. On these, they did appear to be deceased, but still there. The grime is still in the bathroom sinks, or sink, both within the bowl and around the faucets. Underneath the walker here, there is grime all along the which this right here seemed more to be dirt rather than grime, more like a sweep and mop type situation, but still it had not been swept or mopped. And that right there is with us giving notice that would be in that day. This right here is the following pictures with the pictures taped to the door. That right there is Opal's front door, and you can see the roach activity on and around that door.
Mr. Luna, looking at the pictures taken on October 2nd and the pictures taken on October 20th, it looks like Opal managed to remove the clutter seen in these photos. Do you agree?
Some of the clutter had been removed, but the cleaning list was not. It was still very dirty.
Mr. Luna, does your phone have the ability to zoom?
My phone, it does.
Yes. Yes.
Being
Mr.
in
Luna,
person is a lot more. It's a lot more noticeable in person than it is on the camera, though. Yes.
Mr. Luna, do you agree that there is not a clear shot or a clear picture of a cockroach in these photos?
I disagree. There are cockroaches all over the door, all over that support pole.
But you agree it's not a close-up photo of the cockroach?
I agree. I did not want to get any. I wanted to be in and out of that apartment as quickly as possible due to the smell.
Mr. Luna, did you provide the court any pest control bills?
I received those pest control bills yesterday, and I was informed that the court needed to get all documents submitted within 5 days. I have the pest control bills in front of me, but they are that specify that only her apartment out of the 55 units we have, only specifically her apartment gets sprayed monthly for the 159. And I received that yesterday.
Mr. Luna, do you know how long Ms. Palmer has lived in her apartment?
Since January of 2009. She was the first person to live in that unit. First and only person.
With what you just described, why would this not be seen as normal wear of an apartment?
We have several people who's lived in the apartments this period of time, and their apartments in no condition like this. Ms. Palmer also, it seems as if over the period of time is whenever the issues have gotten worse and worse. You can see in 2021 is when she got her first write-up for cleanliness, and then it has progressed over that time. In January, starting January 2022, is whenever we went into contract with Orkin to spray her apartment each and every month. So it seems to be between 2021 and 2022 is when her issues really began to become more severe.
Has Ms. Palmer's apartment been updated since 2009?
It has not.
So her stove is from 2009, correct?
No, I know her refrigerator is a new refrigerator. I don't know the exact age of her stove, but we do replace the appliances as needed.
Is it reasonable that an 18-year-old appliance would look worn?
It is reasonable for it to look worn, yes. It can look worn being grime free though. There are several apartments that have been here since the beginning that don't look like
Did you provide those photos to the court?
that. I did not, as we are not having issues with those apartments.
Did you submit a letter to the court when you filed an eviction against Ms. Palmer?
Not when I filed an eviction to Ms. Palmer. The 30 days that you're speaking of, or are you talking about for this case?
For this case, I'm talking, from my understanding in the eviction packet, there was a letter dated from or sent from you to the court, kind of describing the
Yes,
circumstances. Okay.
Yes, I wanted to give the judge an idea of what was discussed during that meeting when Opal and her representatives had asked for us to give them an additional 30 to 45 days for them to be out.
In this letter, you state that you are concerned that Ms. Palmer needs a higher level of care than what she is currently receiving, correct?
That was what was discussed within the meeting with all of us, yes.
Do you know the level of care Ms. Palmer receives?
I don't know, but judging by the condition of her apartment, I wouldn't want my mother or grandmother living in that sort of condition. And I got to put myself in, I got to think that way whenever I'm working with senior citizens here and to be able to provide a good and safe quality community for these residents. And so with that mindset, I do know that the conditions of her apartment is not acceptable. And so whatever care she is getting at the time is not up to par. She needs more care than what she was receiving.
Mr. Luna, are you a healthcare professional?
No, I am not.
Mr. Luna, does Brook Oaks require tenants to attend presentations by healthcare businesses like home healthcare and hospice services?
Do we require them to? No.
Do you host such presentations?
We do allow vendors such as from hospice or home health care takers to come in, and they'll either put on bingo or play Jeopardy or some sort of event, and within that they are able to speak and engage with some of the residents to inform them of the services they offer.
What happens if a tenant does not attend these presentations?
Nothing. It's completely optional if they want to go.
Does Opal harass other tenants?
Not that I'm aware of.
Does Opal cause any hysteric scenes at the apartment?
Hysteric scenes? No.
Other than your claims of cleanliness, has Opal been a good tenant?
Yes, Miss Opal is very sweet. Every conversation Opal and I've had have been a very positive and sweet, good interaction.
No further questions, John.
Okay. So this is opportunity for you, Mr. Luna, to pretty much clarify anything that you may have said under oath during the cross-examination. It's considered a redirect. You're your own representative in this case. So anything that you want to clarify during your cross-examination.
I think I was pretty clear within all of my answers. I think I'm good.
All right. Move forward with your next witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Opal Palmer.
Ms. Palmer, you've already been sworn in. Please proceed.
Ms. Palmer, I'm going to ask you some questions. Ms. Palmer, how old are you?
84.
Do you have people in your apartment that help you?
Sure.
Do you know what their names are?
Barbara and Miss Ivy.
Yes. Do they help you clean?
Sure.
Do you have photos of your apartment that you would like the court to consider?
No, I don't.
You didn't bring any photos with you today?
No, I don't.
Ms. Palmer, if I showed you some photos, would you be able to tell the judge if that was your apartment?
Sure.
Were these photos shared with the plaintiff?
Yes, they were. So, Mr. Luna, I sent some photos. The first is a picture of a stove. Do you have that photo?
Yes, yes, I see it. Much
All right,
cleaner, much cleaner.
Ms. Palmer, I would like you to look through these photos right now
Mm-hmm.
and tell the judge if this is what your apartment looks like right now.
My apartment is clean. I'm a clean person. It looks real nice to me.
Are these photos of your apartment? Is
Sure.
that your refrigerator?
Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Palmer, do you want to continue living at your apartment?
Of course. This is my home.
Do you feel like you can live there right now?
Of course.
No further questions of Ms. Palmer?
When were these pictures taken?
I have another witness who can testify to the exact date, Your Honor.
So the same rules apply. Mr. Luna, do you have any questions that you want to ask Ms. Palmer in regards to the testimony that she's provided?
You actually asked the question I was going to ask. When were these pictures taken, and how do we know if it's going to sustain to this level if tenancy were to continue?
So that is the first question. The other witness has to. I'll tell you what. Let's get through with the other witnesses before we can entertain that question. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Move on with your next witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Megan Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you've already been sworn in. Ms. Johnson, if I can get you to come on up and take a seat here, seeing that you. You can proceed with your witness.
Ms. Johnson, what is your relationship with Ms. Palmer?
I'm a caregiver and she's my friend.
How long have you been working with Ms. Palmer?
Maybe 2 years.
What kind of things do you help Ms. Palmer with?
I've paid a bill. I buy groceries. And these are out my pocket at most times. Groceries. I pay for her clothes to be washed. I pay for her cleaning supplies. I clean her house. I do help her with her hygiene. I make sure she has hot meals every single night, even when I'm not supposed to be at work. I treat Miss Opal like she's my family.
Now, for Exhibit D, the pictures that we were just talking about with Ms. Palmer, here's a copy for you to look at, Ms. Johnson. Did you take these photos?
I did.
And when did you take these photos?
I took them maybe this November into October.
Ms. Johnson, are these photos an accurate depiction of Ms. Palmer's apartment?
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe the reason for this eviction is?
I believe that at first it's partly because of hospice, I think, and maybe partly because of when maintenance went in, they took everything out the refrigerator and put them on the counter and then took pictures because our refrigerator was not working. And then he told me he wanted her to clean it up. He didn't give a list of everything he was going to look for. So I did everything that was in the picture. And in return, he came in with this and took pictures of something totally different.
Ms. Johnson, do you believe Ms. Palmer is capable of continuing to live at Brook Oaks with the services she currently receives?
Absolutely.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Luna.
What exact date were these pictures taken?
I can't give you an exact date unless I go through my phone.
Were these pictures taken on or before October 20th?
Well, when you went and took the pictures October the 20th, we passed by each other in the elevator and I had just finished going over her apartment. Even with the picture you showed of the sink, that's because the sink doesn't drain. And I didn't stick around for the sink to drain before you took those pictures of the knife and the thing that I was scrubbing in the sink.
So these pictures were taken
Right
after,
after,
first time, after after October 20th.
October the 2nd, the pictures that they took October the 2nd, I don't work over the weekends. And the second, so I was sick with the flu on the 2nd because it was my birthday weekend. This is why I can remember. I was sick with the flu on the 2nd and I didn't return to Monday. But her refrigerator hadn't been working at all. So of course, whatever was in there was going to go bad because her refrigerator wasn't working.
Okay.
Am I able
Okay,
to ask for
Well, I can only have one person. That's a person that's actually filed. No disrespect, man, but Mr. Luna's the only one that's going to do the cross examination.
Okay.
Mr. Luna, anything else?
Okay, so on October the 2nd, I want to clarify you were not at the apartment complex.
No.
You were sick.
Yes,
Is that what was stated?
Yes.
Okay. So she was not there when the maintenance went in there to be able to testify that the maintenance guy moved everything to the counter.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
But I can attest that the things that were on the counter were initially in the refrigerator.
Okay. And then the next thing it was when you did come into the office, whenever Opal did let you know that she had been written up, you specifically came into the office and asked me and let me know that you were headed to the store. You had been out. You explained the situation to me that you're the one to pay her bills. Even when the electricity was terminated, you are the one that paid the electricity bill to get it turned back on. You explained to me your relationship with Opal at that point. And at that point, you let me know that you were going to go up there and clean it, and you had bought a bunch of cleaning supplies to clean it. So with those cleaning supplies, if you're stating in the pictures that it was just debris, then what were those cleaning supplies that you went to go buy whenever you and I discussed the write-up?
What were the cleaning supplies I bought? I bought some
Yes.
Fabuloso. I bought some degreaser. I bought some bleach and some dish soap.
And those cleaning supplies were used to clean the apartment?
Mhm.
Okay. And so I guess my confusion is that the testimony was that the pictures did not clarify what to do other than the clutter. But if if she's claiming she bought all those cleaning supplies, why weren't they
So
used on the apartment?
this is the opposite. I just let me make sure we're clear. You need you to be able to ask questions, not to go back and forth. So if you don't have any questions to develop your case by her testimony, then we have no other questions. We have to move on.
I do have one more question. Uh, we have received several notices from residents within the facility that have complained about Opal's foul smell and dirty clothes. How has she been cleaning her before this time frame? Has she been bathing in Miss Opal and cleaning her clothes before this eviction?
I pay to wash her clothes. In most cases, I washed her clothes until Barbara came. I've never smelled an odor on Miss Opal, but her apartment would have a smell because you got to understand in 100-degree weather when her air conditioner doesn't work and we got to let her windows up for her to even have ventilation, whatever trash is sitting right there is going to smell. Not to mention that, again, her sink drains slow, so sometimes the smell comes from the garbage disposal.
As her caretaker, have you called in any work orders whatsoever?
Normally as a caretaker, as a home health care aide, that's not what I'm supposed to do. But I did come down to the office and speak to you personally about the things that weren't working in our apartment.
In your opinion, is Opal capable of calling the work order line to have these services worked on?
I would say
These
no
issues
because
worked
I
on?
forgot to have a phone.
Okay.
All
No
right,
further questions.
redirect.
Ms. Johnson, have you ever been around Opal and she has been unhygienic, smelling?
Opal doesn't stink.
No further questions.
Okay, so I understand we have a lot of witnesses, but we only set our hearings actually for 30 minutes for evictions. And I know you have several witnesses. So let me just ask a couple of questions just to kind of clarify. You mentioned, you can go ahead. You mentioned the Violence Against Women's Act.
Yes, sir.
And language that needs to be stated in the notice to vacate.
Yes, sir.
What particular language needs to be stated in the notice to vacate pertaining to this act, and how does this act pertain to Ms. Opal?
Yes, sir. So in the documents I provided to the court, I don't know if you have them available, but I've also brought them here, and I've also given copies to the plaintiff. Here, we just give you one of each.
I do have some case laws here that you provided.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So, the VAWA Act requires that Violence Against Women's Act information needs to be in the notice to vacate, and it needs to be in there because of certain federal housing programs. So I believe that Brook Oaks falls under either item A in this document 12491. They either fall in A, the program under section 1701Q of Title 12, which I also provided a copy of, which is supportive housing for the elderly. And if it didn't fall in that, it would also fall in P, any other federal housing program providing affordable housing to low and moderate income persons. In general, the language which needs to be in there is found. Your Honor, I think it just mentioned that certain language needs to be in there in this on sorry, that I highlighted it and it's not. Okay. On page 4 of the document, under D, it says notification provision.
Which document was
Oh, on 12491. Housing protections for victims of domestic violence.
Give me 1 second. Let me see, which form, let me see what you have there.
This one.
Can I ask a quick question?
Give me 1 second. You said page 4?
Yes. Your D provision, it says each public housing agency or owner or manager of a housing assisted under a covered housing program shall provide the notice developed under paragraph 1 together with a form described in subsection C3A to an applicant for or other tenants of housing assisted under a covered program. And it goes into when they need to provide this. And C says with any notification of an eviction or notification of a termination of assistance.
And what type of notice needs to be provided again?
On page 3, it says form of documentation.
Go ahead.
Under B, it says a document that is signed by any employee and states that under penalty of perjury, a federal Your Honor, I don't know if the actual notice language is in this actual statute.
That's part of your defense in regards to a notice to vacate that did not comply with the federal law, so it needs you to identify which federal law we're referencing.
Your Honor, I understand.
And I also need to know how this act pertains to Ms.
So,
Palmer.
Your Honor, the case law that I provided states that just because Ms. Opal is not a victim of violence, that it does not matter, that because this entity is receiving federal funds, they must be given a VAWA notice, or VAWA needs to be mentioned in the notice. So in the case law, Colonia Tepeyek from Dallas and Cherry Glen Associates from California, because it's federal law, I pulled from another state, but the Dallas court also agrees that by statute that a VAWA notice or VAWA language needs to be included
In the
in
notice.
the notice to vacate. And as Mr. Luna testified, I mean, VAWA is not even mentioned on the notice at all,
So it's just a simple fact that it needs to be.
that they're protected under VAWA.
All right. So it's clear that the house is clean now, right?
That is our position, sir, yes.
So before I close out today's case, I want to make sure that I'm hearing everything correct. Mr. Luna, you said she had received several notices from back in 2021 up until now.
Correct.
But you were not the manager there. You came in September.
Correct.
In the notices that she had received prior, are there records showing that she complied?
There is no records to show that she's compliant. But the fact that
So,
she,
so
the fact
hold
that,
on,
that she was not
hold on.
terminated, I'm assuming that there was a temporary compliance.
Okay, that's based on assumption. All right,
Correct.
and you gave her one notice in October 2nd. Was that what time frame did you give her to clean the house? Was because you came back on October 20th. So was it 30 days to get the house up to standards, or what time frame did you give her to get the apartment up to standards from October 2nd to when?
So the October 2nd is when the pictures were taken. The lease violation was served on the 6th, just from over the weekend. And then she had 2 weeks from that period to be able to get her house and her apartment in standard condition.
Okay. Are there housing regulations that specify a time frame you must give tenants to comply with their lease violation?
No.
Are you sure? We're talking about housing.
Yes.
We're talking about subsidized housing. I want to make it because
So from my
if you don't know, say I don't know. But if you say yes for sure, that means that you know the actual HUD regulations as it pertains to giving tenants opportunity to cure the problems that exist, especially with.
right, and I feel like now you have me questioning myself on that. Maybe Brittany can help me clarify that more. Brittany is my direct boss, and she's who I get everything cleared
Can
through.
you answer that question, Brittany?
On the lease violation that was served, you can see at the bottom, we gave her 5 calendar days to discuss the notice with us, which she did not. But it's up to management to decide how long to give that person to clean based on the condition of the unit. There's no HUD, there's no date or number of days that HUD requires.
All the reason why I question, because I have a lot of housing apartments that have to comply with HUD as well. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't researched it myself, but based on previous cases that where housing is involved, they give tenants 30 days to cure it. And that's why I'm asking you, because again, this is based on, Waco Housing Authority, who works directly with Texas Department of Housing, who works with the Federal Housing Authority. So that's why I'm wondering if you are actually complying with the same procedures that housing is complying with here in Central Texas.
If this helps at all, whenever it was within like 2 or 3 days after the initial notice was served on the 6th, that her caretaker did come into the office and said that her apartment was ready for reinspection. And I let her know that because the document says that we'll be going in on the 20th, that we're going to wait until the 20th. So we were already notified that the apartment was ready for reinspection within a few days of the initial notice that I sent.
Okay, so here's where I am in this particular case. First, I don't have enough information to what came out. This is what bothers me in this case. I see that there were some issues based on the pictures that were taken October 2nd. I see that. But then I also have testimony saying that the refrigerator was having malfunctioning issues, and that's the reason why the food and everything was taken out, showing the pictures that you had. Also, some of the pictures that you had does show some type of debris and things like that. I don't see, I see residue of roaches, but I don't see proof that it actually that the roaches were derived from her particular unit. I don't have that. I do have proof that she did comply within a time frame of receiving the initial notice. Based on everything that I have in front of me, I cannot say that you've proven your case by a preponderance of evidence, because preponderance means it's a little over 50%. And it's hard for me to say whether or not she did not really comply with your warning prior to giving her the 30-day notice to vacate. And again, I'm also basing my experience on previous housing violations with Waco Housing Authority as to the time frame that they give tenants to comply with the lease violation notice. And so in this particular case, I have to rule in favor for the defendant. In regards to the Women's Against Violence Act, I don't have enough information on it. You provided case law, but I really don't have enough on that one. But based on the fact that she did comply within a time frame and the fact that there's not enough information to show it was actually her fault as to the neglect of the unit. It could have been both. I don't know right now. And so with that being said, I'm going to rule in favor for the defendant. Now, with that being said, whatever you all have been doing to keep the unit in compliance, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Therefore, any maintenance requests need to be submitted to maintenance in writing to make sure that they have a good understanding. If it's not draining right, put it in writing, submit the maintenance request in accordance to the lease. If the refrigerator is not working, put it in writing and make sure that it's submitted and make sure that it is done in a timely manner. Judgment in favor for the defendant. Court adjourned.
Judge, are we going to have an opportunity to speak with you to get more clarification on next steps?
The next step is if she violates the lease from this point on, you would have to go through the same process. And also make sure that you check with the TDXCA to make sure you're in compliance with all of HUD violations, the HUD laws and rules and regulations.